Last night, Shadowverse Worlds Beyond just revealed a new card that's interesting not just because it's an iconic returning character, but also because of some of the implications it might have for the game as a whole, which maybe I'm reading too much into, but I thought it would be interesting to talk about. So let's just dive into it. We have Ruler of Cocytus coming back, and just like the original Prince of Darkness from the original game, the fanfare nomenclature is the same. Replace your deck with an Apocalypse deck, except the stat line is obviously better here, Ruler of Cocytus being a 10-10-10, and Prince of Darkness being a 6-6, which is really outdated. And also, the Apocalypse deck got quite the glow-up too. So here we have all of the Apocalypse cards, and we can compare them to their original counterparts. Silent Rider is a 6-10-10 with Storm, whereas before it was a 6-8-8 with Storm, so quite the stat buff there. Servant of Cocytus got one of the biggest glow-ups because it was really bad in the original one. It's a 1-13-13, whereas before it cost 5, which was way too much for a card that did nothing on play. And also, finally, we have Demon of Purgatory, replacing Dis's Damnation. Now, this is the one where it's really interesting and I want to talk about it more. Demon of Purgatory had its effects completely changed. Select 2 enemy followers on the field, deal 6 damage to them and the enemy leader. Now, the original Demon of Purgatory wasn't even in the Apocalypse deck. It was in the Cocytus deck from the other version of Prince of Darkness, which is Lord of Cocytus, I believe. And Demon of Purgatory's original effect was give the enemy leader the following effect: at the start of your next turn, discard a random card from your hand. So the RNG element of discarding a card from their hand is completely removed and is now a straight damage dealing card, which is pretty good, I will say. I think the big disappointment is that with the lack of Dis's Damnation, you don't have healing anymore, which is another implication that I want to talk about in a second. But this lack of RNG is really interesting to me because if it was just an isolated case, I would just say, oh, they just made a change to a card, it's not a big deal. But this is the second card we've seen reworked from the original game to reduce the aspects of RNG. Shadowverse is already kind of known and kind of sold itself as a card game with less RNG elements compared to other digital card games, and it seems like they're leaning into it even more. What I mean by that is that Demon of Purgatory removes the RNG element, and also, you might have seen it when I accidentally switched to this tab just now, the new Fire Drake Whelp has a completely different effect than the original Fire Drake Whelp as well. The Fire Drake Whelp token originally had Last Words, deal 1 damage to a random enemy follower, and now it just has Intimidate, which is the new keyword carried over from Shadowverse Evolve, making it being not able to be attacked by enemy followers. So the RNG element is completely removed here as well. Now, I might be reading too much into this, and perhaps it's too early to call it, considering, we don't have that many reveals, and we're just getting our first batch of cards now. But if this trend continues, I think it's quite a positive indication that the game is cutting back down on what little RNG it already had. Also, coinciding with this, and something I'm very happy about, none of the cards have Invoke. And you all know, if you've been watching this channel for a while, I hate the invocation mechanic because of the draw RNG it massively introduces, and it seems like that's not a thing anymore as well. So, again, too early to call it maybe, but I think it's a good indication. The other implication of this Demon of Purgatory change is that there is no Dis's Damnation. Now, originally, for Prince of Darkness, you would get 3 Servants, 3 Silent Riders, 3 Dis's, and 1 Astaroths. So I assume it's the same here, where you get 3 of each and then 1 Astaroth. Astaroth now, by the way, being setting the max defense to 1 rather than dealing damage until it reaches 1, which is much better in most cases. So that's good, especially for a big bombshell win the game card. But the implication of no disses means that there's way less healing in the Apocalypse deck, which I think also speaks to their philosophy of they don't want games to last forever. When you play Ruler of Cocytus, it's like a I'm gonna win the game soon card and not a let's drag this out to the ends of the earth card, right? So introducing more damage, introducing cheaper Servant, higher stats Silent Rider, and reducing the amount of healing. It's like we need to end the game in the next 1 or 2 turns, basically. And that's sort of the change that they made here. And I don't know if I particularly love that. I mean, I get that games shouldn't last forever, but removing Dis's Damnation and this source of healing means that you're pretty vulnerable after landing Cocytus, because at 10, it doesn't impact the board, so you're just playing a big stat stick for your whole turn, and then they might just like get you on the clapback after that without you having any way to recover. So that's another thing that I'm not entirely sure of. But overall, I think this card is a pretty good indication of perhaps a bit of their change in design philosophy. Again, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I think so far it's a change I'm happy to see. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time for more frickin' Worlds Beyond hype. If you like this, you might like the other video I just did yesterday, I believe, or was it the day before, where we looked over all of the new cards that were revealed from the pre-built decks at the Shadowverse Fest event. All right, see ya.